Hello everyone, Angry Spork here with an overview of episode 2 of Young Justice Season 3 entitled Royal We. Starts out with a PSA from Beast Boy. Apparently he's on this Star Trek-like show and now he's doing this talk about how, metahuman trafficking is a problem. And I noticed they have Greg Sipes from Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go voicing him, but he's obviously doing this as a bit older Beast Boy. I don't mind it entirely, but I do think it's kind of like... I did think it was kind of unnecessary. I mean, maybe Logan Grove, who voiced him in the second season, I liked him just fine. I thought he did a fine job, but, maybe he was unavailable, or maybe they just really want to keep using Greg Sipes for Beast Boy, like they want to keep using Carrie Payton for Cyborg. And others, because, hey, I know that voice from the Teen Titans cartoon now. Boy, now I want to watch this. Anyway, it closes with this, if you see something, scream something. Which is kind of an odd thing to say. I mean, I know what they're going for. I know what they're basing it on. It's just kind of an odd twist to it. The UN announces the protest quitting of several members of the Justice League, like Batman and, the others we saw either walk out or turn off their holograms. Secretary General Luthor talks smack about them until Garth, whom we know as Tempest and the original Aqualad from the comics, says that the League was too limited by red tape to be any kind of effective, needing Security Council's unanimous decision for humanitarian missions. And Troya, whom you might recognize as Donna Troy, original Wonder Girl, seconds that emotion. Shouting ensues, jab taken at Bialia because we don't have a metahuman on the Justice League. Well, maybe if your one metahuman wasn't a criminal. I think they're talking about Queen Bee. Then the Markovian ambassador speaks up, saying that in his neck of the woods, vigilantism is forbidden. And wouldn't you know it, that's when Nightwing and his crew are entering the country. Because funny contradiction. So Grayson and Artemis, they're undercover as, a couple going to the coronation ceremony, and they suspect there's an inside job as pertaining to the royal murders of the king and queen. Even the sons are suspects, but so are Baron DeLam, the queen's brother, and Simon X, whom you might recognize as Dr. Double X. It was noted in the previous episode, but he works at a Markovian children's hospital, but he's kind of overqualified. He's like underpaid, so it's kind of suspicious why he's there. And the thing about it is that hospital has a higher than normal mortality rate. So yeah, something's fishy. Nightwing gets a notification from Oracle that he doesn't seem to let anyone else know about. So it seems that he's keeping them in the dark about his hacker cohort. Connor and Jeff are going to drop Nightwing's gear at a national cemetery, and then they go off to find why the children's hospital is using so much electricity. Back at the coronation, Brion talks to Helga Jace, the family physician, about activating his metagene, and given all the losses he suffered, he can't let things continue as they have been. And she points him in the direction of X. Back at the hospital, Con and Jeff make their way to the morgue, which is suspiciously empty. And while Pierce can't really generate electricity like he used to, he can still detect, energy signatures enough to weed out a secret door, and behind which they find a lab that is basically Bedlam, the network that's been turning kids into metahumans. And they plan a bunch of mini-cams that have the nice feature of obscuring their faces. despite them having masks, but they can't get a signal. They can't call for help. Connor is already kind of uneasy being in a lab that reminds him so much of Cadmus, but then he sees a disassembled mother box, and he gets even more upset about it because that's basically a sentient computer, technically a living thing, and it was murdered, as far as he's concerned. Then they find a bunch of kids in stasis tubes when they're attacked by Count Vertigo, who summons Plasmus, who I pretty much only know Plasmus from the Teen Titans cartoon, and here he looks much different, but looking just like the mutated girl from the season premiere episode. Except this one, you see his brain instead of his heart. Weird thing, Connor tells Jeff to stun them, even though Pierce already said he can't generate electricity. As it is, he's already having flashbacks to Rand when he accidentally took a life, so I'm not really sure why Connor thought that was a good idea. I mean, I can understand he wasn't there for the event on Rand, but Jeff told him, no electricity. So Khan makes them an exit through the floor, and Vertigo sends Otto after them. We jump to a graveyard where some guys are burying some bodies, one of which was the young woman that opened the palace doors for the speedster, and nearby, in the same cemetery, Tigress is suiting up when she sees this purple light shine just nearby, and it's the young woman. Tigress goes to investigate, sees these people trying to bury her as she's trying to climb out of the grave, and she just starts whooping them all. She pulls the young woman out, and a goon is using this, fancy technological energy whip, but the girl that was formerly deceased generates an energy shield, much to everyone's surprise. The super technological motorcycle, or whatever it was, Artemis had, doesn't fit two people. They have to retreat on foot. She calls in Supercycle, and weirdly enough, for some reason, Supercycle seems to really get along with this mysterious young woman. So I don't know. They made a connection. I don't know. So Grayson, meanwhile, is trailing Brion and X, but he can't raise Connor or Jeff, who have already made it out of the sewer. Except there's this barrier. Connor seemed more injured than I thought he would be. I mean, he's got super strength. He may not be as strong as Superman, but he's still got super strength. And it just seems like, the burning touch of Plasmus just seemed like it was, I don't know, it just seemed weird. But he's still super strong enough to bend the bars. And Jeff takes the jump first. Unfortunately, he hits the base of his spine on a rock just underneath the water, which, ow! But before Connor can help him, Plasma sketches up and, burns him into submission. It's like, again, I'm kind of just weird. Anyway, Oracle can only get a fix on Black Lightning, so, Grayson tells Tigress to go pick him up while he sends a little beetle drone robot into a building that X and Brion have entered. And while Artemis manages to get the young woman to speak, she does speak a little English, she doesn't remember anything from wait until she woke up in the grave. And they find Black Lightning by a river, and after a moment, he wakes up saying that they got SB. And it doesn't look like he's crippled, which I kind of thought might have been an issue, because, he hit the base of his spine, but he seems more or less fine after a while. So speaking of Plasmus, he's returned to Vertigo with Superboy, who, Vertigo recognizes the guy, and implies he might inform the UN about having a superpowered individual crossing borders. I mean, it was kind of weird at first, since the team was always more Black Ops, and I don't think Superboy's existence was ever really public. Like, it's like he didn't... Yeah, he went around in that t-shirt with an S on it, but it's like, I don't think anyone knew him like they might have known Batman or Robin or Green Arrow or what have you. But whatever, he's a superhero, so it could still cause some problems. Grayson's bug drone has followed Brion and X into the morgue, but it doesn't send out a signal past that secret door. What he misses is X showing off the lab to Brion, like the metamorphosis pods, and the young prince realizes he's just gotten himself involved with the metahuman traffickers. And he's immobilized by Vertigo and then sedated by X, and Vertigo is all ticked off for exposing their operation and decides to put both the prince and Superboy in pods, because evil. Black Lightning tells Artemis about his encounter with Plasmus, and Nightwing tells them to retrace themselves back through the sewers, and he'll go through the front door. Without his coat and tie. He's serious. In the lab, X is saying that he was just following orders, and Vertigo leaves to confirm. And that got me thinking, is Jace involved? Because, those two talk to each other at the party, so it's like, and just as I'm thinking that, she walks in and activates the tar for at least, just Brion. The goons at the graveyard are reporting to Vertigo in a separate chamber about the girl that came back to life, and he calls someone about their compromised operation while they try and secure the perimeter or some such. Brion wakes up, horrified by the tar, but Jace tells him it's for the best. Yeah, she's attractive, so he's inclined to believe her, but that's when the episode ends. Credits roll featuring Sphere, so it kind of makes me feel, are they doing kind of like a pets theme with the credits? Though I don't think Sphere is technically a pet. I wouldn't be surprised if the next one is Wolf. So this was a good continuation of events. It seems like it's kind of like a three-part premiere. I don't really recognize anything about the revived young woman. I don't know if she's an established character or if she's original to the series. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I can't really find anything I particularly dislike about it besides, the newer suits for some of the characters, but they're not featured that often, so it's not a big deal.